Welcome back to the Mid Podcast, where we separate 5-star classics from 5-hour endurance test. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and tell all your friends where they can find witty, sarcastic wrestling takes. Also, be sure to listen to my other show and follow the Weekly Steel Chair, where you can see me on Sundays for Lipsticks and Lariats with my beautiful and wonderful co host Nikki from the bar. And so today we're going to talk about what was supposed to be the biggest party of the summer. Somehow it was the middest party of the summer. So, ladies and gentlemen, SummerSlam came to Minneapolis. There was pyro. It had its regular celebrities, if you want to call them celebrities. We had some surprising returns. We had some championships. However, somehow, it also had the personality of plain oatmeal. And now, before the comments explode, mid doesn't mean bad. Mid means I liked some things, but 2 hours later, I probably forgot half of the card. And that was your SummerSlam 2026. Was it a disaster? Not compared to some other pay-per-views WWE has had. This wasn't a crown jewel level of what are we doing? This wasn't WrestleMania. This wasn't even Backlash France energy. This was a premium live event that was not premium wrestling and not premium storytelling. It just had content. It's the wrestling equivalent of scrolling Netflix for 45 minutes before watching an episode of The Office you've already seen about 20 times. So, let's go through the matches and discuss them. And let's also talk about the overwhelming feeling that WWE forgot that wrestling fans enjoy being emotionally invested. So, we have, and these are in no particular order. Night 1, Io versus Liv. Well, as I, queen of hate women's wrestling, this match shows why I hate women's wrestling. But it was not the worst match for women on the SummerSlam card. Oh, no, we'll get into that one. But it was the Women's World Championship. Io is very good at wrestling, so I have no complaints on that. Liv is just there. And before the Liv simps come after me, I'm not a fan. Sorry, sue me. Does Liv continue to prove she's one of WWE's MVPs? Maybe. Does Io somehow wrestle gravity instead of opponents? Probably. Do they have chemistry? Maybe. Did the crowd react? Maybe. So, was this a SummerSlam classic? No. I mean, have we gotten to the point where WWE has become addicted to making every title match feel like another episode of Raw just with extra pyro? I'm leaning toward that one. And I know some of y'all thoroughly enjoyed this and you thought, oh, this was the amazing appetizer before realizing dinner isn't coming. For all you hollering, we want more women's matches. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. So we had a 6-man tag. We had LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, who has been able to show us his personality lately, and Royce Keys, who thought the grass was greener on the other side. Yeah. Versus the Bloodline. All right. I swear, the Bloodline has been feuding longer than some marriages. And every time I think it's over, Voila! We are doused with another cousin appearance. I think somewhere Rikishi is probably getting a phone call. Hey, you got any more kids we can have? Was the match entertaining? Maybe. Is LA Knight still one of WWE's most charismatic stars? Maybe if you like LA Knight. Solo, he does look rejuvenated. I'm kind of digging the new personality. Royce Keys, well, you're just there, and I enjoyed you as Powerhouse Hobbs in AEW. But did anything fundamentally change? No. This storyline has become the MCU. Every ending sets up another ending, and sometimes you actually need an ending permanently. Well, according to the IWC, this was one of the matches they were most anxious to see because we got, for the first time in WWE, our SmackDown general manager, one Nick Aldis, who's got some fine ass abs, versus Gunther. Well, first of all, I'm going to give huge respect to Nick Aldis. He does look believable and like he belongs in a wrestling ring, even though he was blown up like 3 minutes into the match. He did con WWE into purchasing the rights to Morning Glory by Oasis. Huge Oasis fan. Love Morning Glory. So, I'll give you props for that. But what was the reason for the match? Oh, Gunther was pissed that he kept getting screwed over. But was Gunther really terrifying in this match? Although Nick Aldis did come out on Sunday night, kind of had a shiner. I'm not sure if that mission was accomplished because they've kind of neutered Gunther, in my opinion. I mean, Gunther kind of wrestles like someone's favorite hobby is ruining confidence. And he just doesn't beat opponents. He tries to convince them to question their life decision. I wouldn't say he was very dominant, but there was zero suspense, and we all knew who was winning before we got the intros. Alright, yay, women's wrestling. We had Fatal Influence versus Paige and Brie and the Bella Twins. Well, WWE did check some boxes. We had legends. We had NXT talent call up. We had nostalgia. We're going to get some TikTok clips. This match wasn't bad. It was fucking awful. Fatal Influence won, which the younger talent needed it. And we all knew the Bella Twins were going to turn on Paige. Unfortunately, Brie messed her shoulder up and probably is going to be out for a year. So now what? Emotionally, there was nothing to this match. And again, I will say, this is why women's wrestling sucks. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk for the undisputed WWE Championship. Should this match have been unforgettable? Yeah. Instead, it was watching molasses being poured out on a cold winter evening. That was the problem. Both are phenomenal storytellers, just not when it comes to the physical wrestling. I mean, Punk tried to kill himself with some kind of move off the top rope. I think you're a little too old to be doing those. We had callbacks, but this match, it never reached that level where fans were standing up and hollering, "We want more." Instead, the fans just stood there and goes, "Oh well, that was nice. What's next?" So, SummerSlam main events, you shouldn't receive golf applause. You should leave your fans speechless. And oh, you left the fans speechless, but not in a good way. Because the fans were speechless because they were like, what the fuck did I just watch in this match? And on paper, night one kind of looked like to be the better of the two. But instead, it lacked urgency and basically unforgettable. Would you go back and watch night one? I know I'm not. So thankfully, we had night two, and night two kind of remembered, hey, we're SummerSlam. So now this. This, I would say, could be considered wrestling. We got the returns of Kevin Owens, which I heard somebody say he looks like Odysseus from Odyssey, and now I cannot unsee that. Thank you. Kevin Owens returned after we all wondered if he'd ever wrestle again with his neck injury. The reaction was genuine. There was no fancy production, no CGI, no drones, just music. The crowd popped. And, well, sometimes wrestling, well, it can be simple. So we go into our fatal four-way with Kevin Owens versus Gunther versus Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Now, before we actually get into the match was set up to be Finn versus Sami. Sami, the whiny crybaby little bitch that you are. I got fucked over, so I deserve to be put in the title match. No, motherfucker, you don't. You suck. You have not been good since you were El Generico. Finn Balor. He held the title for 24 hours. But Seth Rollins hurt his shoulder, and he had to relinquish. And it's been 10 years since he's really sniffed the title picture. So, while it was announced it was going to be a one-on-one match, I had Finn to win. Because, you know, Finn deserves it a hell of a lot more than that whiny little bitch Sami fucking Zayn. But then we insert Kevin Owens and Gunther. Okay, Gunther, you've been screwed over by all this. You've had your match. Okay, fine. You're in the match. Then Kevin Owens comes out. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. And, as I say on my other podcast, Lipsticks and Lariats, which, if you follow the Weekly Still Chair on YouTube, you can see me on Sundays. We have a word on that show, and it's called consistency. Consistency. Yes, that word. So, where was all the outrage of Kevin Owens just automatically being thrown in a number one contenders match for the title? And there was no story. Where's the story? Why was he just given this opportunity? Oh, just because he's Kevin Owens? Oh my God, you let Tony Khan and AEW do this? The IWC melts and cries like the little bitches they are. But Kevin Owens gets thrown into this match. Nothing. Crickets. Silence. All I ask is you be consistent. If you're going to bitch about one, you need to bitch about the other. But we know y'all have the mind level of a 5-year-old and y'all don't know what consistency means probably. But anyway, the match itself. I kind of enjoyed the match. There was chaos. It was beautiful wrestling chaos, actually. Everyone got in their moments. I don't think anybody felt unnecessary. And Kevin Owens winning. I mean, did it really create fresh championship possibilities? Not really, because we've seen Kevin Owens and CM Punk wrestle before. However, out of the 4 in this match, I do think Kevin Owens is probably the best to go toe-to-toe with CM Punk on the mic, and we actually could get some pretty decent promos. I would have to say this is probably one of the better matches of the weekend. Come at me. I know. Then we had Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin. Well, I thought they're not going to take the free belt off of Trick Williams. They just, try to sell these belts online, which you won't get until December. Oh, but I was wrong. So WWE's like, hold my beer. We're going to give you a moment. And by moment, I mean Baron Corbin comes back, wins the title. I mean, I wasn't expecting much in this match. It was okay. Corbin works great as a heel. Trick has charisma. Is he improving? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there was nothing revolutionary about this match. It was just a match. There was some wrestling. And I guess sometimes, well, that's good enough for everybody else. Alrighty. Yay. Women's wrestling. Boo. And by boo, I mean, this match was fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. Botches galore. You knew there'd be fuckery. But Jesus Christ. Really? Really? I mean, you had bodies everywhere. I would say the surprise is Chelsea Green winning, which, I mean, I'm not upset with it because I like Chelsea. I think she's very good. I did a whole article on her and Toni Storm and how at that time they were probably the best two women wrestlers. You can go check that out at themidpodcast.com if you want to read it. Chelsea surviving all the chaos pretty much feels on brand, and Chelsea has become one of WWE's funniest characters without becoming a joke. She pretty much takes the lemons and makes lemonade out of it. And I mean, that's kind of harder than people realize. They give her shitty shit and she kind of makes it enjoyable. A match that should not have been on this show, that could have been on, you know, SmackDown, Raw, Your Mama's Front Lawn. I don't know. I really need to know who approved this. Like, seriously, who in the creative room felt this was a fucking good match? We have Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio for human monies on a pole, which it really wasn't human monies. There was a few $1 bills sprinkled in, which were actually human monies. The rest was fake Danhausen money, which you can actually buy. I mean, I had to give it to WWE. They'll sell shit on a turd if they could. Alrighty. I guess WWE remembered, well, we have like 10 minutes we need to kill, so we'll just give you this match. And if you had to explain this match to someone who stopped watching wrestling in 2003, good luck. I get people like their little comedy in wrestling. I get that. However, WWE is overexposing Danhausen to the point where it's kind of getting ridiculous now. The mini Danhausens. The only good thing about this match, I got to see JD McDonough. That was the highlight of this match. Because I think JD is a nice looking man. I wouldn't show this match to my dead grandma sitting in an urn. Alright. Now, the next match was Penta, who put up his IC title against Chad Gable, which we all knew Gable was winning. He had went on this redemption arc. It was in his hometown. It was decent wrestling. Probably technically one of the strongest matches of the SummerSlam card for both nights. Gable finally captured a major singles championship in front of his hometown. We got that feel good, I'm going to say that word again, moment that WWE loves. Now, we did have a little issue at the end. Who the fuck decided it would be a good idea to put the mug root beer dude on the edge of the ring as Gable was celebrating? So you kind of took away from Gable's moment. Good job, WWE. You know what you deserve? For fucking up a man's moment. Would I go back and watch this match? Maybe. I like Penta. Gable's okay. But my question is now, what do you do with Gable? How long are you going to let Gable hold this title? Because personally, I'd rather see Ethan Page with this title. So I kind of think that's where we might be going in this feud. He'll probably have to go through Rusev first and then get to Ethan. But I think Ethan would be much better than Gable with the title. Okay. If you are a Shield fan, this match was for you because it had everything you wanted. Shield lore galore. Haha, I kind of rhymed. So, 14 years of history. The Shield. The Shield. Oh, I'm sorry. Betrayals, brotherhood, respect. Everything came together. No unnecessary nonsense. Yeah, right. This shit was boring. Storytelling? Yeah. 14 years ago, Roman retained. We all knew Roman was going to retain. He actually won clean. There was no fuckery. And I guess we finally got that emotional closure we all needed with the Shield. I guess we got our payoff. I don't know. It was there. It was there. I know my co-host on Lipsticks and Lyrics is upset. She hates Roman and loves Seth. I think I heard her scream all the way down here in the South from Jersey. I'm sorry. But maybe Seth will have his time after Roman drops the belt to somebody else. So, why SummerSlam was mid? And here's the $1 million question. If the wrestling was good, why am I calling this show mid? Well, WWE has developed a modern problem. Their form of wrestling or lack thereof is mid. I don't know what to say. I mean, every pay-per-view WWE does, because I refuse to call them premium live events. Celebrity appearances, video packages, commercials, little bit of wrestling. Nothing feels special. SummerSlam used to be the biggest party of the summer. It kind of felt like Christmas morning. You were excited. And now it feels like, oh, yay, that family member I dislike is coming for Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Well, WWE, your production is great. We all know that. But it kind of feels historic now. Like, time gone by, eras long, long ago. I'm just kind of bored with you. But, however, I will say the biggest winners of SummerSlam, Kevin Owens returning, and Chelsea Green finally getting the recognition she deserved after Michael P.S. Hayes shitted all over her. And I don't mean that literally for those that know. There was no feeling of importance. You could have condensed this into one night, take out all those commercials, and I wouldn't have had to waste my Sunday. And I could have watched House of the Dragon. But no, you decided to make this a 2-night thing because, you're a greedy little bastard. Which is, just corporate America nowadays. I get that. Oh, lordy, lordy. So, if you ask me whether I enjoyed SummerSlam, I'd probably say, no, not really. Will I remember it from 6 months from now? Fuck no. Professional wrestling isn't just about great matches, it's about moments. It is for the WWE. If I want to watch great matches, thank God there's the AEW. Will these moments be remembered? Maybe. Will they become history? Probably. History that is forgotten. But there was nothing that felt larger than life. It was just summer scam. And if I had to pay $30 to watch this, I probably would feel like I needed a refund. I feel like the biggest party of the summer ended up feeling like someone forgot to invite excitement. I don't know what you do. I'm at a loss for words. I know WWE is not going to improve their shit. I don't know what to tell you. We are just stuck. Until fans actually decide to not show up to these events and pay these extravagant prices, they're going to keep giving you this slop, this mid product. But if you enjoyed my review, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the Mid Podcast, and let me know in the comments, was SummerSlam actually mid? Or are our expectations for WWE's biggest events becoming impossible to satisfy? So, until next time, remember, not every 5-star match creates a 5-star memory. And, well, yeah, that's the biggest lesson from SummerSlam 2026. See you guys next time.